It's dark, it's a bit wet, it's a bit windy at times, and it is definitely getting cold. It is November. And while a lot of growers kind of tuck away their gardens for the year and then kind of have a break over the winter, not me. I've got tons to do out in the garden, which brings me to 4 incredible root vegetables that I can harvest in November and that you can too. The first of the root crops is here in these 2 main beds here in my polytunnel, in my polycrub. And they are sweet potatoes. They're vining all along here and they're growing up this trellis that I've built for them. And that's to increase the surface area that they can spread out and grow leaves and draw in energy from the sun. The first year I did grow them here at the end of this bed where Maggie is destroying the catnip. And they kind of fell over the sides and they did pretty good. But last year when I put in this trellis here, they did so much better. So if you're in a similar climate and you want to grow sweet potatoes, my 2 recommendations are to grow them vertically, and I have a video showing how I do it. And second, to buy and grow sweet potatoes that are suitable for cooler climates. I grow a Japanese variety of sweet potato called Murasaki, and it's a great choice for regions with relatively mild summers. You can grow them indoors or outdoors, but the more shelter, sun, warmth, and humidity that you can give them, the better they'll do. We start the plants in early spring, not from seeds or tubers, but from shoots grown from the tubers. They're called slips, and they root very easily, making it possible to grow 6 or more plants from a single good tuber. Sweet potatoes need at least 3 to 4 months to produce a crop. In cooler regions with less sun, they'll need more time. From planting to harvest, mine take about 6 months. In this raised bed is a root crop that is a bit notorious. It's known as the fartichoke. That is its nickname. It's also called the sunchoke and the Jerusalem artichoke. And it's probably the easiest vegetable that you can grow. And if you don't lift them at the end of summer or in autumn, then they can become really invasive. Growing them in a container like this large bed is also a good idea because it keeps them constrained. On the other side, I have horseradish. It's the same thing. You want to keep them in a place where they're not going to take over. Now, I've got these ordinary sized Jerusalem artichokes here, and these I started from roots or tubers that I got in the supermarkets. So they're perfectly viable. They'll grow perfectly fine. The ones that I have out in the garden are a dwarf variety. So they only grow about 3 feet tall, which is perfect for my quite windy garden. Just a single Jerusalem artichoke plant can give you enough tubers to last the winter. That's because eating any more than 1 to 2 at a time can give you some pretty epic gas. That's another reason why dwarf varieties are an attractive prospect. Not only are the plants smaller, but the yield seems to be smaller too. The tubers are normal in size, and the variety I grow has beautiful reddish purple skin. This vegetable is easy to grow, and you can throw a few tubers into pretty much any type of soil and expect a good harvest. I've had to go and get a brand new trug for our 3rd vegetable, which is Yacon. Yacon is a little known South American vegetable in these parts, and if you've not heard of it before, don't worry, most people haven't. If you have heard of Yacon and if you've grown it, let me know as a comment down below. They are related to sunflowers, and they do have tiny yellow flowers that form at the very tops later on in the season. And if you grow them in a sheltered place, they can grow really tall, and they do need a little bit of support in windier climates like mine. And now at the end of the year, it's time to harvest the tubers. And the tubers can be massive. You can get really big harvests with this crop. And the tubers you eat raw. They're very crunchy, very delicious, kind of like apples in both texture and flavor. Yet some people say they're more like a cross between a watermelon and a pear. Delicious, Either way, growing Yacon is very similar to growing dahlias. They love full sun, free draining soil, and plenty of space to grow. They're also sensitive to cold temperatures, and the leaves and stems will blacken after your first frost. This is often a great time to harvest the plants in cooler climates. Now, in warmer climates, you can leave the plants in the ground year-round and just harvest tubers by gently digging around the plants. Yacon tubers and plants must be stored in a frost-free place until spring if you dig them up. Otherwise, they won't survive. The fourth vegetable is this guy. And it doesn't look like much, but it has both edible leaves that taste like sorrel and tubers that are really colorful, really beautiful, and again have that sorrel-y, lemony flavor. People say they're kind of like lemony potatoes. And contrary to its name, it's actually a South American root vegetable. And you plant it in spring, and in autumn, at the autumn equinox, is when it starts forming those tubers. And you have to wait 8 weeks from that point, minimum, to dig them up. And it's pretty much just after 8 weeks now. Ideally, you want to wait another couple of weeks. And my main patch, which is growing over near the celeriac, is going to wait for another couple of weeks. But this guy is kind of encroaching on the lavender, so I thought, let's dig it up and see what we have. Judging when to harvest New Zealand yams, also called oca, is a bit of a balancing act. You want to wait long enough for the tubers to form, but harvest them before garden pests get to them. Slugs were a problem for me last year, and mice are a problem every year. The first week of December seems a really good time for me to harvest. This vegetable grows very much in the same way as potatoes, and you can save tubers to replant the next year. They come in a range of colors and are an unusual and tasty addition to the vegetable garden. So there you have it. 4 different root vegetables, tubers rather, that you can harvest in November. This is a lot of food. We've got some starchy food, we've got sweets, there's so much here. And with all of these, you start them off in spring, let them do their thing for pretty much all of the summer, so about 6 months for all of these, and then let them produce these delicious and very generous harvests in the end of the year, so in autumn. There are even more vegetables that you can grow, that you can harvest now, including mashua and horseradish. There are quite a few. And that's not even touching upon our traditional veg like beetroot and carrots and celeriac that you can harvest through the winter in mild climates as well. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and let me know if you've got any questions. And if you would like some more inspiration on even more vegetables to grow, I have a video that covers perennials, and that has quite a few of these in here because if you save the tubers, you can replant them and then have more crops from year to year. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time here on Lovely Greens. Bye for now.